Good morning, everybody, and welcome to All Up in Your Small Business, a webinar series hosted by the Greenville Eastern North Carolina Alliance. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Julia Davis, Marketing and Investor Relations Coordinator for the Greenville E&C Alliance, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. If you're not familiar with our organization, let me provide a bit of a background. We are a public-private partnership focused on promoting economic development in Greenville-Pitt County through industry recruitment, expansion, and retention, development of sites and buildings, marketing and promotion of the community, workforce development, including talent attraction and retention, and small business and entrepreneurship efforts, which is why we're all here today. We're excited to host this webinar series on a monthly basis with speakers of various topics to help small business owners and entrepreneurs start, maintain, and grow their businesses. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Emily Yeager from East Carolina University join us to share information about the valuable and free resources available to current and aspiring business owners. Just a few quick housekeeping notes before we dive into today's programming. If you have a question during the presentation, please drop it in the chat. There will be time for Q&A at the end of the presentation, but you're welcome to ask questions throughout the presentation and they will be addressed at the end. Please stay on mute during the presentation. This webinar will be recorded, so if you have to leave early, we will send you the link to view the session within the next 24 hours. Now, without further delay, let's introduce Dr. Emily Yeager. Emily works as an assistant professor in the Department of Recreation Sciences and is a director of the CRISP Small Business Resource Center at East Carolina University, with a research agenda focused on sustainable community development built upon a community's unique assets and cultural nuances. Leading the Entrepreneur Resource Hub for Eastern North Carolina's 29-county region, she's dedicated to supporting small business growth and sustainable economic development across Greenville-Pitt County and beyond. Today, Dr. Yeager will share valuable insights and resources to help launch, sustain, and grow small businesses in our region. Emily, thank you for being with us today, and we're excited to hear your presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julia. And as Julia was introducing our program and myself, I dropped two links in the chat in case anybody's interested. One is for Greenville E&C Alliance, if you want to know more about what they do, and then two for the CRISP Center as well, so you can follow along as I kind of go over our resources. So I'm very excited to say that I'm only going to be talking for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we have a surprise for our audience, which is going to be the launch of a that the CRISP Center, Greenville E&C Alliance, and Pitt County Economic Development have been working together to launch for not only Pitt County, but for others around our area that, also would like to use this resource. So just not going to spoil it for y'all, but I'll go ahead and start with an overview of what we offer through the CRISP Center. So share my screen. Okay. Can y'all give me a thumbs up if you can see this screen? Perfect. Great. Love a good thumbs up. So if you have your cell phone, you're welcome to scan this QR code, but you can also look in the chat. That's where I've put a link to our website. And the first thing that I will tell you is if you look at our website on the right-hand side, there's a simple form. If you are interested in any of the resources that I'm talking about today, then please fill that out and you will automatically get added to our mailing list so that you're aware of all kinds of opportunities that are coming your way as a small business owner or an economic development organization in Eastern North Carolina. And of course, you're welcome to email me directly at yeagere18@ecu.edu. So as Julia mentioned, the CRISP Center, it's part of our Miller School of Entrepreneurship at East Carolina University. We serve 29 counties in Eastern North Carolina, but don't worry, if you don't happen to be a county that's shaded in purple, we will still work with you. It's just that our mission, it says 29 counties because ECU tends to also focus on that geographic scope. But we have partnered with, I'm going to throw an acronym everyone's way, entrepreneurial support organizations, so ESOs. We've partnered with a variety of them outside of our service area on a number of programs, and I'll talk about what some of those are. But our goal is to provide resources within our entrepreneurial ecosystem in Eastern North Carolina and beyond just to augment what already exists here. To sustain small businesses, which we believe small businesses are the heart of sustainable economic development, especially in our rural communities. So I always like to do a little bit of education about sort of the ecosystem. So if you're new to trying to understand what an entrepreneurial ecosystem is, I think this is a helpful slide. And if you already know it by heart, just bear with me for a second. So the best way to explain what the CRISP Center does is to explain what we don't do. So first, we do not provide one-on-one business consulting. And the reason for this is twofold. One is because we believe there are people in our ecosystem that are already doing it very well. So in this little infographic to the right on your screen where it says entrepreneurial ecosystem, anything in yellow is something that we don't currently offer. It doesn't mean that we won't in the future, but right now we do not offer this. So those that we think that are offering one-on-one business consulting very well are your small business centers, which there is one in every community college right in your back door, and also your small business development centers. And some of them, like ours at East Carolina University, have a T in their acronym as well. And so the difference between those two is small business centers, again, it's a statewide effort in your community colleges. And then your SBDCs or your SBTDCs, those are federally funded organizations through the Small Business Administration, and they typically are embedded within universities. And so ECU does have one. Both of these entities offer free, and I'll say it again, free or no cost. What other synonyms can we come up with? No money, support to consult with you for your small business. But things that we do through the CRISP Center. So one is we will provide grant and RFP support. So if you are working on a grant application and you're a little bit stuck, I think about, for example, if you're not aware of NC IDEA, look them up. I don't have my chat pulled up, but later on I'll drop the link in the chat. They're our largest grant funding organization in North Carolina for small businesses. And routinely, I get requests to say, hey, can you look at my NC IDEA grant application? Because I do happen to serve as a reviewer for one of their programs. And so at this point, I kind of know the ins and outs of the basic things that you'll need to have a successful application. And then we also provide RFP support. So very similar. If you're working to bid on an RFP and you're unfamiliar with the process and you just want to have another person in your corner helping you craft that application, we'll help you do that as well. We also provide opportunities for education and networking. So I'll put a plug in for next week. This week, November 20th. Sorry, my dates are a little bit mixed up. We are offering the last workshop for this season's Art Means Business. And so this is a series that we offer once a month in collaboration with the Pitt County Arts Council and lots of other ecosystem partners, some of which are on this call and some of which are not today. And we sent out an interest survey to creatives in Eastern North Carolina, asked them what kinds of small business support they're looking for, and we developed a series based off that. So this is our second season, and it's absolutely free. So it's being offered at the Pitt County Arts Council on Evans Street at Emerge Art Gallery this Wednesday night from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Technically, the class is 6 to 8 p.m., but the 30 minutes we set aside for networking. And so with that particular type of event, I like to use that as an example of what we can do to partner with you is we have recruited the speakers or the experts for that series. We've also paid for their time. We've helped with marketing and promotion, and then of course with content creation and thinking about the curriculum that we would offer and developing that interest survey, analyzing the data, etc. And then of course we show up the day of to help facilitate the event. So what I say, if you are someone who provides support for small business owners and you have an idea for a program or for a series or some type of resource, let's talk because we're always happy to either financially support or provide experts or our time. Okay. So I'm going to keep moving on in the interest of time. So one of our services we offer, and I apologize that words are cut off. They don't look the same when I'm on my browser versus when it's downloaded. But we do provide faculty-led student consulting. So essentially, I can play matchmaker between the client and the classroom. So right now, we're currently recruiting for small business owners who have project ideas for a classroom for the spring, but we recruit for every semester. And then on the same side, I'm recruiting faculty on campus at ECU who want to provide these experiential learnings for our students. So examples of projects that have been done through this faculty-led student consulting has been site location analysis for a business that wanted to open up a second location. We've done marketing plans, we've done forecasting, we've done business plans, helped mentor family businesses for legacy, etc. So if you have an idea for a project and you are willing to wait for a student course to complete that project with you over the course of about 3 months, that's no cost to you as a business owner. And again, it's rolling recruitment, but we try to heavily recruit in September and March of each year just in preparation for the upcoming semesters. I've talked about grant and RFP assistance. And even things like assistance with logistics, there is no wrong question, by the way. Some of the most beneficial calls I've been on is just registering people for sam.gov versus grants.gov. Our federal funding opportunities are not very easy to apply for, so we're happy to even walk you through steps like that. And then partnership. So I mentioned Art Means Business. Other things that we've done, for example, Pivotal Moments. It was a series that we just wrapped up in partnership with Elizabeth City State and Fayetteville State University and UNC Pembroke. And we basically just rotated universities and provided an opportunity for entrepreneurs to come on campus and share about their biggest challenges or failures in their entrepreneurial journey and how they recovered from that. So basically just to reduce the stigma of failure. And so we learned a lot in those series. And what that does is it integrates our students better within the entrepreneurial ecosystem, but also provides these safe networking spaces for our entrepreneurs in our region. So another partnership that is going to segue into our guests who are here with us today is the tool that I'm very excited to get to share with everyone today. So I mentioned a partnership with Greenville ENC Alliance and Pitt County Economic Development. So I want to give a big shout out to Kelly, who's here on the call for Pitt County Economic Development, and Julia, who is here with Greenville ENC Alliance. About a year ago, I was working with Greenville ENC Alliance on thinking about how we could increase small business support in Pitt County and then, honestly, the surrounding area, because we know that counties are kind of an arbitrary border when it comes to offering services, public goods. And we developed a small business advisory council with Greenville NC Alliance, which has been awesome to be a part of over the past year. And then an opportunity came along for a tool that we could basically centralize all of our entrepreneurial support organizations into one place that's searchable and user experience focused. So that way, if you are a small business owner or if you're an entrepreneurial support organization, you have a tool in your that you can now add to your toolbox that you're welcome to share with others that you're either supporting or for yourself as a small business owner. So without further delay, I am going to hand it off to Brendan Brady and Paige, who are here with EcoMaps, which is the company that we partnered with to develop this tool. So I'm going to let y'all take it away.
Thanks, Emily. All right. How's it going, everyone? I'm really excited to give you guys a little walkthrough of a couple different user experiences for the EcoMap platform. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen now. So this is the home page for the Encompass platform. This is what you'll see when you visit the link that you'll be provided. And we are going to start on this homepage. where you will be presented with different common things that you know, an entrepreneur would be searching for. These are common, we call them keywords. They're words that we use to tag relevant information on different things like resources offered by the previously mentioned ESOs. If you go further down on this homepage, you'll also have the option to reach out directly to the people behind the platform if you want to talk to a human instead. You will also have access to some frequently asked questions. And once again, if those questions are not all-encompassing enough for you, if you have further questions, you should reach out to Crisp directly. So if you click Explore, it'll bring you to the About page of the platform. And from here, I'd like to actually start by going to Resources. So this is a directory for the resources that are currently listed on the platform. You are able to search by, once again, these different keywords. If you see these little hashtags here, such as ecosystem builder, open to public, grants. On the side here, you're also going to see some common search suggestions that people might be looking for, and you can further filter in a more specific way with these drop downs here. So for example, if I was looking for specifically resources that were open to the public, I could filter that way. And also, you are able to, if something is not found here that you think should be found here, you're able to add a resource yourself. Now, this leads me to the next thing. So to add a resource, you're going to want to create a profile. Of course, the platform is open to anybody. You don't have to make a profile to use it, but there are specific benefits in doing so, one of which is that you can add events, you can add resources, and you can add organizations. And also you can save these later to personalized lists, which I will get to in a second. But let me start here by creating a profile to show you this process. So I'm going to make it for myself. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me make a fake one. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select networking, because networking will make my profile public and open for other people to look at. This is a great way to connect with other people in your ecosystem and to just develop connections and find exactly what you're looking for and let other people find you. All righty. So now if I wanted to add a resource, or let me show you actually in the organization directory. So similar to resources, you've got different organizations or ESOs, as previously mentioned, entrepreneur support organizations, that offer different resources to people in your ecosystem. The filtering is the same. You can search by specific keywords and the same sort of drop-down filtering as well. Now, if I wanted to add an organization, let's say I don't think that a certain organization is on the platform and it could be relevant, I can add it here. So just going to go with yahoo.com because I think that's a valuable resource that should be on this platform. Then, of course, I will add the URL. When you put in a URL, if it's something that is scrapable, you'll see here that they auto-populate with a logo and some information about this organization. I sadly am not a representative of Yahoo, so I'm going to unclick this box. You have other options here now. If this organization is hiring, you can have it featured in the Now Hiring page. You can add contact information and more details. And now here is a very important detail. When you're adding any sort of organization, resource, or event, you want to be thorough in how you select your keywords. Like I mentioned before, the keywording is how you can specifically filter to find any sort of asset for your specific use case, you know? It's important to think about this from an end user's perspective too. So if someone is looking for funding, you want to make sure that obviously something is tagged with the keyword for funding. So business center, just to populate some things. I'm going to delete this afterwards, so you guys will have a clean slate when you start, but I'm just showing you this process. Okay. And now you should see When I search Yahoo. No, well, of
It
course.
can take up to a day.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a second for things to show up, but
Because the admins of the platform are going to choose whether to approve or reject the things that you add. So that way, you know that the things being added are valuable to you. They're making sure that everything that's here is curated, right? Like the point of having an experience that is a smaller number of resources and organizations is that way you're less overwhelmed and you know that the things that you're finding here are high quality and not like that you're just going through a million Google results. You know what I mean?
And now I'd like to go over the list function, which is something that I mentioned earlier, which is another really great reason to make a profile on the actual EcoMap. So you'll see this little bookmark icon here. If you are filtering for resources, you can obviously save these things. And then on your profile, you can then go and look at your own personalized lists.
Here, your saved items.
Oh yeah, sorry, my saved items. Yeah, saved items here. Sorry, everything takes a little bit longer to load when I'm sharing screen. So you'll see these things that I've shared here, that I've saved here. These are my own personalized resources that I felt were relevant to myself. But what you can also do is say you are filtering for specific kinds of resources. I want something that is open to the public. Then I will see these two resources have the open to the public keyword. Now, what I can do here is I can add all these to a list. Okay, so what you do here is you will make a list that has saved all the resources with the keyword that you've been filtering by.
Do you want to show them the shared list directories? That way you can see where things are going to go.
Yes, absolutely.
So just for context, you guys, the point of making lists, they can be just personal to you, like Brendan was showing you, or it's empty right now, obviously, because this is the big reveal of the platform. But you can also make lists that are viewable to everyone on that's coming to the platform, right? So let's say you want to make a list of things that are open to the public, or you want to make a list of ESOs that you know have great supports for female founders or whatever it might be. You can make a list that everyone can access that's curated by you. The admins of the platform can also make these lists, and they'll be populated over time, right? So Brendan is making an example list right now, which he'll create. And then he'll go back to the resource directory to populate that list. You can do it one by one in that window that he was showing you, but this is how to do it in bulk.
All right, so then I just go and I add these to the list. And there we have it, Brendan's list with open to public resources. And this is a really great way to really further curate the user experience and help people find exactly what they're looking for. And now the last thing that I'd like to talk about is if you're approaching this platform from the perspective of someone who is with an ESO. So ESOs can also obviously create their own personal profiles and add events and resources. This is going to be the same process as someone who is just an entrepreneur doing this, like I was just demonstrating. But the big main difference is that if I am a representative of an ESO, I want to claim an organization. So down here on the organization's profile, you'll see the claim org button, and I want to start a claim request. So here is where it will auto-populate with some information from your profile that you've set up. But you can associate your organization, you can put your title in, and the very important detail here is you'll want to upload some documentation that shows that you do really work with this organization. This could be anything like statements from a recent pay period, or your public LinkedIn profile showing your title, anything just to prove in an official way that you really are working with an organization.
I will say, this is always a funny thing to say to folks who are in a pretty close-knit ecosystem, because in
Yeah.
many cases, Emily, or Kelly or anyone else may just know who you are,
Right.
in which case use your own discretion. But for those who, don't have that personal connection yet, you want to provide some proofs, that way they know that you should be allowed to manage this organization profile.
Exactly. And so once you submit your claim request, it will be pending until an admin of the platform is able to review it and accept that. And then you'll be able to edit information for your organization and all of these important things. Yeah.
The one thing I will just add to that in terms of editing your organization, you kind of have two options when it comes to editing your organization. So if you'll notice in this upper right-hand corner where it says auto updated, one of the beautiful benefits of an EcoMap is that all of the information that's in there right now, and this doesn't apply to information that you guys add, but all of the information that the team behind the platform and the EcoMap team curated to put in here is updated by EcoMap's AI to keep it accurate. If the logo changes on the website, the logo is going to change on the EcoMap profile, et cetera, et cetera. If you choose to edit it, however, you would have to turn off those auto updates. And that's just that way we don't override your changes, right? Like, we know that not every website of every organization is perfectly up to date and things like that. So you may have information that we don't. And when you do have that information, you'll turn off those auto updates to be able to edit it. So that way, again, we don't get rid of any of the things that you've added. So that's one thing. Otherwise, you can leave it exactly as it is and still claim it and still have it be auto updated. You don't have to worry about going in there. And of course, you still have all the benefits of, adding events that are associated to your organization, adding resources that are associated to your organization, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so that's just a general overview of some of the basic core functions of this EcoMap platform, but we really encourage everyone to hop on there, make a profile and explore and play around yourself, because there's a lot to discover.
Awesome. And thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. I put a link to this website in the chat in case anybody was following along. The reason why we had decided to invest in creating this tool to pilot it out was for a couple of reasons. One is it's democratic, if you will. So anyone can add a resource. You could be a small business owner and still add a resource if you come across one. So I do encourage you, if you're here today or if you're watching this video later and you want to help us grow this site to be truly authentic and accurate of our ecosystem, you are more than welcome to, and it is absolutely free to do so. So I'll just say that again, it's free, absolutely free to use. And signing up, as Paige and Brendan mentioned, is not required for you to view the EcoMap and see what tools and resources and events are going on. But if you want to contribute to it, you do have to sign up. And I promise we're not going to sell your information or anything like that. It's just a way for us to see how many people actually are engaging with the platform. So some things that also we really loved about this EcoMap is we didn't quite talk about the events part of it, but we are working to see if we can have an events widget basically on that landing page. So that way there's a calendar that you can look at to see what is up and coming. If you are a small business owner or even an ESO and you are feeling like you're in a silo, which is super common to feel that way, by the way, as an entrepreneur, please take a look at what's happening in the events as we're growing this site and try to attend networking events or other types of educational opportunities. You never know who you're going to meet at those engagements. So that is, the last thing I'll say about the EcoMap before we sort of start opening up the floor to questions is, again, this is all beta, right? Everyone that's on this call today, you are the first people to ever see this EcoMap outside of Greenville NC Alliance and Pitt County Economic Development and myself. So consider yourselves as pioneers on this platform. If you would like to give feedback, if there's things that you say, hey, I would really love to see this functionality, or we need to change that color. I mean, there's no wrong type of feedback. You are welcome to email me. I'll put my email again in the chat if you would like. Or if you want to add things, you do not need our permission to do that. And the back end will just approve or deny, and most likely we're going to approve. The deny button is really for like the bots, right? If there's anything that's being added that we're like, what is that? That is not even related to our EcoMap. But we are excited that people are here today and able to see this launch of this tool. Julia or Kelly, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to say thank you, Emily, Brennan, and Paige, for all being here today. It's super exciting to have this tool and resource available now, and I'm excited to see people to start using it.
We're happy to be here. We're excited as well.
Yeah. And we are, as we're saying, we want to grow this. We have a plan that we want to start. If you are an ESO, so someone asked me, what is an ESO? And I said, okay, it's an entrepreneurial support organization. So you could be a chamber of commerce, you could be a small business center, you could be an independent organization that just runs an accelerator or whatever it is. If you would like for us to meet with you individually, so like me or another person that's been working on this is Baylee Fox or Kelly, we are happy to meet with you. We can do it virtually, or if you want to set up a time for us to visit. I know some people on this call, we do have meetings already on the books, and so I was planning on bringing this up anyway. I'm happy to walk you through it in more detail about the things that you can do with this EcoMap. And thank you, Kimber. I see your shout out. That's awesome. Thank you. So Q&A, does anybody have any questions about the CRISP Center, the information I provided earlier, or about the EcoMap itself?
And as we wait for some questions, I just wanted to let everyone know of our next All Up in Your Small Business webinar. It's scheduled for Monday, December 16th at 11:30 with Bryant Kennedy from the Carolina Small Business Development Fund, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting small businesses and underserved communities across North Carolina. You can join us and discover how the CSBDF can help you secure the capital you need to start or grow your business, even if you don't qualify for traditional bank loans. You can learn about their flexible loan options, special programs, and the 6 C's of credit that guide their lending process. This session is designed for entrepreneurs looking to access funding, receive personalized business assistance, and achieve financial sustainability. And I'll go ahead and add that link to the chat to register in advance for this meeting.
Thanks, Maria. Appreciate your positive encouragement. Well, so as we wait for Q&A, that pretty much concludes the content for today. So feel free though, if you want to add, if you do have questions you want to ask and you're like, I kind of want to wait for people to get off, like that's okay. I'm going to hang out here, and Brendan and Paige will be with us for a little bit too. So I just really thank you guys, everyone on this call, for being here. And I hope that I hear from you to connect with the CRISP Center and also about using this tool for your organization's purposes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to thank again Emily and Brennan and Paige for sharing their time and expertise with us today. And thank you to all of you for attending.